And hi everyone, welcome to eLearnChat, where you always learn something new. I am joined today by my good friend and co-host, Lesley Price. In fact, you're going to get to meet both of us in person at the Learning Technology Show 2019. That is on February 13 and 14 in London, England. We will both be there in live, living color. My wife's joining us too. Her name is Lesley too. So I've two Leslies. I don't know. That's scary. But anyway, join us at the show. We're going to be at the www.learnappeal.com stand, or booth as we call it. That'll be fun. Go ahead. And we are back, and we've got a great guest today, kind of one of the unsung heroes of e-learning and training and development. And I'm really excited to meet him for the first time. I've known him by name, but never met him. And we have with us Tim Loudermilk. He is the Chief Product Officer for Curator Solutions.com, which is a new company just formed, about a month ago? Not even a month ago. It is the combination of two other companies, Tim's company, Elearis, and was it Real-Time Cases, I think? Two companies, two really cool companies joining together, create a new company that was CuratorSolutions.com. So, Tim, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Rick. And thank you.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Tim has been around quite a while. He has worked in some very well-known development firms. He was the founder of Trivantis. You've all heard of Trivantis and Lectora. He was one of the designers of Lectora, as well as Lectora Online, Lectora Publisher, and other products that you work with there. You've had a great history with Trivantis. I think you were at Procter & Gamble at one point as one of the tech architects of things going on there, including marketing ventures, and we have one friend in common, Scott Sloan, who used to be with Trivantis. He was the VP of International Sales. It's a small world, and how we've never met before, I don't know. I apologize for that. I should have met you a long time ago. What got you into the field of training and e-learning?
Well, I have to go back to just a little before I started Trivantis, and that was I was running a company called Hobson's Digital Media, which was involved in the education space, but in the student recruitment side. We had a really neat product called College View that was one of the first college search products for high school students, and it made me look closer and closer at the education space. And I made a decision that I was going to pursue something that was more curriculum focused. It was just really interesting to me, and I enjoyed working with the universities. So I took on a project before I did that, creating a bridal registry system online for federated department stores, and used the tool called Authorware, designed by Dr. Michael Allen, who I'm still in touch with today. And I spent a few months on that product, and when I was finished, I decided that the education market really needed an authoring, a way to create content easier, faster, and that became Lectora Publisher.
That's great. That's absolutely great. And
I would agree with that 100%, Tim, because with my own background being in what you call in the US community education, but I also taught in what you call colleges, we call universities. I started using that with my students back in the 1990s, and it was very new then, and what we were doing was absolutely mind-blowing. It was very, very new, and I'm glad to say it's growing, but it's not growing, I don't think, as fast as it could do, because it's still very complex for the standard, the normal lecturer, tutor, educator to get their head round.
It is. It became increasingly more a technologist tool, a tool used by a fairly high level of technical knowledge, a person with a lot of technical skills. And that's sort of an opening for me. So I spent the last 3 years creating Elearis specifically for professors and subject matter experts to make it so easy to use that it really enables them to build a lot of their own learning. I guess the market would call it a rapid learning development solution. And that's really one of our primary products, in addition to real-time cases at Curator Solutions, and we're just super excited about it. It's a fun product that is very easy to use, exceptionally easy to use, and so it doesn't really compete with Lectora or Storyline. It really it really competes with one other product from Articulate, but it works in conjunction with those tools. So if you build some really complicated HTML5 exercise in Storyline or Lectora, you can drag it right into Elearis and manage it and use it. So you don't have to have everyone using a heavily technical tool. You have a few people that are experts doing that, and a lot of other subject matters creating their own learning.
And it's sort of interesting you say.
Really, yeah, really interesting, because just to butt in again, Rick, sorry, but we've got with the guys who've, as you know, I've worked for Learn Appeal, and the guys there at Appeteer have got a really good authoring tool called Evolve, and through that we're now working with a secondary school in Hastings, Helenswood, and the teacher there has now set up an after-school e-learning club for the year 7s and 8s, which is like 14, 15, 16-year-olds, to learn how to learn instructional design.
Wow. They keep learning younger and younger. Of course, they've had phones in their hands since they were much younger than that. So.
Yeah.
That's good. So Tim, how did you wind up combining your company with real-time cases to form Curator Solutions?
It's a really exciting story. I have a friend that I've worked with a while that is a great education entrepreneur. His name is John Katzman. I think John was the founder of Princeton Review, and I competed with him back in Hobson's days. But recently, he was the founder of Noodle Partners, and Noodle builds online programs for universities in partnership with universities, but they sort of unbundle everything, and they have a very unique strategy to get the best tools in the best locations that are really give the school the advantage, the university advantage. And I think that they are using our Elearis platform, and we're working very closely with them. And Real-Time Cases was also working very closely with them on some really interesting ways to deliver digitally native case studies. Everyone's heard of the Harvard case studies, of course, but these are very different, because these are all video, all digital, very engaged case studies that right now are focused primarily on business and marketing subjects, but soon we'll be expanding to other areas like healthcare management. So it was really a unique opportunity. We're both selling to the same clients, working very closely together, and it just fit. So.
And you bring up another interesting point, that e-learning tools in today's day and age, where we used to have authors, you don't find a lot of authors anymore. Authors would be kind of the programmer types that would build the courses. It's kind of a dying breed. The standard instructional designers and other people in learning departments or training departments are the ones saddled with doing things that they don't know how to do. And so what you did with Elearis is, again, build something that anyone can use. And even though a lot of people say, well, it's not really e-learning or authoring, it is. It's just, why complicate it so much? And it is fascinating to see where the industry is going. And to a certain point, I totally agree with you that if you can empower the end users to build their own content, that the sky's the limit at that point of what your company can do, what they can do, and how that grows. Now, Elearis is, or part of Curator Solutions, but that's a SaaS product, right? That's software as a service. So in essence, they don't have to load anything on their machines. They just go on the internet and build.
That's exactly right. They jump right into Elearis.com, log in, and They have a full course management system that allows them to create courses and manage them by organization, whether it be a university or a corporate department. And they can just jump right in and start dragging content in. I was heavily influenced by a very old product called HyperCard from Apple. If you remember HyperCard years ago.
Yep.
So we have learning cards inside of Elearis, and a learning card could be as simple as a single video you've dragged in to create a video learning card, or it could be a bit more complicated. It could be a long scrolling WordPress type of card with multiple types of objects. So I think that the goal there was to make it visually so easy to use by allowing you to build first single object learning cards, like pictures and things, but also multi-object cards, and then finally a full flowing sort of page builder custom card, and then all of the different types of assessment questions that you would find in solutions that are out in the market as well. So you could build full assessments inside the solution. That's probably as complicated as we want to get with the solution, because we want it to be usable by subject matter experts.
Now, how is that being?
It's interesting. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's interesting that you started off with business and marketing, because that's actually what I studied at university. So, I did my degree in business and specialized in marketing. And then that's what I taught, both in community college and at university. And when I was teaching it, I used the BBC at that point, brought out very, very, very short video clips, and I used them. But I would have loved to have put them into some kind of e-learning, but there wasn't anything that existed, because I used to say to my students, okay, when you go home tonight, what I want you to do is watch as many TV programs and soap operas as you possibly can. And they would say, why? I would say, because I want you to note down every product that you have seen on the side, on the table, in the kitchen, in all these soap operas or all these, any kind of show that was on. I said, you watch for product placement, and then you look for the different audience you would expect to be watching that show. And that's where marketing comes in. And I would have loved to have been able to have some kind of tool. You're just talking about video there, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, wouldn't I have loved that as a marketing lecturer?
So as we add more case study decks to the real-time cases library, those will all be available through the Elearis platform, so you could log in and use it as part of a course you're going to build, or use it as a standalone lesson. So we're excited about the way those things really work so well together. So.
And Tim, one thing that's changing in the industry is video is finally very affordable, and it's prolific. It's everywhere with YouTube and Vimeo and all the other video sites. It's not that hard to get video going anymore. Do you see video as one of the big changes for the future that we'll see more and more of?
I do. I think that video is obviously engaging to the learner, and it's a great way, a great media to really communicate with. I think we'll see it more interesting, maybe interactive video happening more and more, where you can learn things by exploring inside the video. So I think that's definitely going to happen. On our platform, we support everything from a video file you'd upload from your computer to a YouTube video where we'll go out to launch the YouTube video for the learner, but we don't actually send them to YouTube. We keep them inside of our frame so they can see that video but not get distracted for the next 4 videos that follow it. Yeah. So we do that, and all the way to integration of the high-end Lectora video services. We really tried to make video a big part of this in terms of the broadest types of video that you could use inside the platform.
We've got a viewer comment.
We have a viewer comment
from Paul Wilson. He says, "I'm a big believer in the democratization of e-learning."
That's fantastic. I am as well. And I must admit, though, I had a really big fault when I designed Lectora 20 years ago. I thought it was really easy to use. I mean, I would have been adamant that it was easy to use. And then I had some educators, one who I'm married to, who told me that it wasn't easy to use, that you had to do something really different if you were going to get faculty members to jump on it and self-create. It had to be not in their way at all, part of their normal process of how they put their materials together. So I think it's really exciting that that learning is going to be democratized.
Now, I think it's funny because when you hear that you know, you thought Lectora was easy to use, so did we. But you come from a programming background, and so do we. So I think that's why, as programmers, hey, this is pretty darn easy. It does a heck of a lot for you very elegantly. But for a non-programmer, they still have to think a little bit in the archetype of programming terms, sort of. And we've noticed that too. A lot of people think Lectora is hard, and we're like, it's really easy. How much easier can you make it? Especially the programming parts of it. You can create some very complex if, then, and else kind of statements, and without a lot of work. But again, it's a different mindset. And I think that's why I've always found it funny when people say it's easy, and we agree. And other people go, it's so hard. Because again, it's a different mindset from what they think should be easy. Even PowerPoint, to some people, is very hard. Right. And to other people, it's very easy. It just really depends. But I think you guys actually did an incredible job of making complex things easy with Lectora. So that's you know what I would see then. I haven't looked at Elearis yet, but I'm really getting excited to take a look at how you build things in it, because again, that seems like it's very easy, very straightforward to build web-like pages and just keep your content going. Do you navigate? Is it an up and down navigation, or do you navigate from page to page?
You can do either. We create these learning cards across the top, and then we let you organize them by module or chapter. Okay. So you simply drag it in order, in order of what you want to use. And then if you go to the most complicated version, it creates a scrolling, long scrolling learning object where you can put multiple objects on the page on a top to bottom sort of nation. The advantage we have with today's responsive tools, which is really what Elearis is that the iPads and the iPhones and the Android devices all take care of so much navigation for you. It's been many years since I was designing a button and putting on an XY coordinate on the screen. Yeah. You know, because responsive devices sort of did that to a very significant degree. I'm not going to design a better interface than Jonathan Ives did for the iPad.
Yeah, that's a good point. Lesley?
No, so your system is all device responsive, so it doesn't matter what kind of device somebody is using, because certainly I know that in my experience that although we think that people have computers at home, in areas where maybe the family is not so well off, they don't have computers. You know, they've got cheaper tablets, they've got, you know, cheaper Android, you know, phones, but then that relies on content being device responsive, and so much content is not device responsive.
Well, specifically, we focus on responsive as a really primary principle of Elearis. And, you know, of course, you could drag something in another tool that's not responsive, but we caution you that about doing that. So really, the content they bring in from, let's say, an HTML5 object, if it's fundamentally not responsive, we can't help what they're bringing in. But if you're building natively in Elearis and putting objects in, it's all going to be responsive and work. And in fact, right inside the system, you can view it on any particular device you want immediately as a creator.
No, I think that's really important, because even simple things like PDFs are not device responsive. No. You know, there's actually a skill, and then you get so fed up of going up, down, round, across. It's like doing a blooming crossword puzzle or a jigsaw. Right,
it is. I think that today everything has to focus on responsive design. And still on learning management system integration. So you can publish your content in any of the standards that are out there, but also we do some deeper level publishing to solutions to solutions like Sakai and Canvas that allow us to actually push the content directly on the page, and it still looks great. It's still navigated using the LMS's navigation solution. You can add your own navigation to the Elearis platform, but most people don't find that necessary.
How much of
what
your
do you think
business?
the response is going to be from colleges and universities?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Sorry, what do you think the response is going to be from colleges and universities?
I think that a lot of people have said to me, faculty won't build, they won't create themselves. But I think that if you're expecting a single faculty member to build a whole degree program, that's probably true. They don't have the resources or time to do that. But if I want to put next Tuesday's lesson inside of the Blackboard or Canvas system, and I want to control a better experience for the students, they're doing preparation for their own teaching. This is a great way to prepare it. And the great news is that next time they teach it, it's already prepared. They can maybe add a little more. So I see it as a gradual process. And I like the word democratizing because I think that it won't all happen at once, but with a really affordable solution and really easy to use sort of card view of adding a video card or adding a YouTube video or adding a PDF or even building an assessment or a test inside the platform. With that so easy, I think that it'll happen gradually in most cases. Although we do have several organizations building complete graduate and undergraduate degree programs with the solution now.
Now, if somebody wants to build, let's say, a simulation of something, they could develop the simulation in a program that can do simulations or even video that can capture simulations. And they could also include that as a page in the course, right? So they don't have to build everything into the product up front. They can build it through some other products, then combine it into yours, correct?
That's exactly correct. So commonly, folks build animations with Maya, and you can drag those right in. So we tried to support the widest variety of learning object types. We didn't want to ever say no, is the way I'd like to put it.
That's
so
good.
Anything you can build. So we had an organization take a complete storyline title and put it in as one learning object in our solution. Not the way we recommend doing it because it's a lot of content in one object, but it's certainly possible. So it's really, there's no limits on that.
That's great. Now, what do you see as where e-learning is going? There's a lot of comments and a lot of ideas. Some people are happy about it, some people aren't. Where do you see the future of e-learning moving towards?
I asked myself this question. An unknown secret about me is that I have a law degree, and so for many years I kept going to continuing legal classes and being bored to death because I was a software developer in a CLE course. Yeah. But those were day long. They were hours long. They're online now, and they're still just as boring as they were when I sat in the class. Yep. Regardless of the subject. Sometimes there are some really engaging speakers, I'll have to say, but I think that's not happening anymore. What's happening, other than in things like legal certification, is you're seeing learning happening in really small segments, and really small segments meaning under 10 minutes. And I had someone ask me. We have one organization we're working very closely with, the American Council on Education, and they're providing all of their professional development resources through their site to their members, and we are the back-end delivery vehicle for that. So they're using both Elearis and our back-end Curator content management system to do that. And if you deliver a 4-hour segment to a university president when they log onto their computer, they're very unlikely they're going to look at it, but they might look at that 3 to 5 minute key subject. So we're seeing everybody's building small things and making them very relevant to the person that's sitting in front of their tablet or laptop.
But that's great because a lot of times
you're talking about law there. How about what about I did economics. You try teaching economics to 18-year-olds and the circular flow of the economy and the worldwide flow of the economy and how companies do this in one place and declare profits in the next place. The number of times I had to draw diagrams on boards. It would have been so nice just to have something where I could have done it on like you're describing. It would have just made my life as a lecturer, as a teacher, as a faculty member, so much easier.
There's something that I always go back to this example that sounds archaic and simple. There was a time when people didn't type their own letters. that they carried their written notes or their voice recordings down and had a typing pool type their letters. It's kind of the same today with e-learning. I think that eventually you're going to be doing so much of it yourself. You'll still have the high-end simulation builders. You'll still have the super high level free learning that you're still doing, but the majority of learning is going to be smaller. It's going to be more agile. It's going to be more mobile. It's going to be more interesting, and it's going to be produced at a dramatically lower cost than I think what's traditionally happened.
Well, one thing that you're bringing up is real key in operations, for example. If you have a customer service group or you have any group that definitely deals with either clients or with internal needs, they don't want them on the phones or off the phones for very long. So if you take them out to do a 2-hour compliance course, no one's happy. You take them out for 15 minutes of training, they can live with that. And that's another key part of training that people aren't really leveraging. You don't have to have 2, 3, 4-hour courses. You can have smaller bits of courses that don't keep people off phones or whatever they're doing dealing with clients for hours and hours on end and bored and basically in a semi-comatose state. You can make it simple. You can make it easy. And it's a good chance, like you said, with small learning, they're going to remember it.
Yeah.
Because
I'm excited about that. And that's really, it was a primary reason behind the creation of the Curator side of Elearis, which is the content management system that sits under it.
Yeah.
We've developed some very sophisticated, what I'll call roadmaps that can be implemented inside the Curator solution, and lots of interesting ways to tag, not just an object, tag on the object, but to in a database have an intelligent tagging system that allows me to know what content is relevant to my learner. And we're seeing more and more interest in what we've done there, because you can go to the LMS and outside of the course, because I know that I know your title, I know your role, I know some things about you and your profile. I can actually deliver relevant information to you, and it's more likely to be 5-minute clips or 5-minute or a white paper on some subject that I think you might be interested in. So it's a really neat way that learning is happening outside the LMS. Technically inside the LMS, but outside of a course.
Yep. Yeah, it could be real exciting, actually, and make learning more useful. Because ultimately, if you look at a lot of e-learning now, it's like, oh, God, it's not going to end. And there's one of the things that everybody hates the most. You go into an e-learning course, and it says, page 1 of 622. Talk about depressing. The minute you see that, it's like, oh, no, suicide is an option. Yeah, so you're right. Smaller is better. It's just much more digestible. It's pretty good, and the chances of people being successful afterwards is highly improved. Things that nobody talks about, and we deal with a lot of corporate learning, and everything's check-offs. Check. That's not training. It's just checking off. It's very different from people actually learning, and in particular compliance courses, 1-2-hour courses. Nobody will remember it.
To me, it shouldn't be about compliance or, okay, you need compliance, you need learning, but it's actually got to be about business improvement and performance improvement. Yeah. And business improvement coming from the performance improvement of the employees and the staff, and the people that are responsible for that are the folks in learning and development. Yeah. So it's up to us, that's why I say so often on this program that learning and development should be part of frontline operations, because at the end of the day, it's about performance improvement. And that doesn't matter if it's in an organization or you're talking about, colleges, universities, even schools. We want the kids to perform better. We want them to do better.
Yeah, and making that content interesting is really important. And I think that the exciting thing is, I like to think of Elearis as the platform that gets out of your way and stays out of your way. It helps you implement it. Put that time into creating something great that's really engaging. That's where the time has to be spent in learning. And that's when creativity and production of video, things like that, is getting cheaper and cheaper. But it's also still needs to be a focus on creating really great learning objects. You start with something great. You put it in a tool like Elearis, stays out of your way, gets it to the people on the platforms that they want to consume the content. So, right.
Yeah.
Tim, we'd love to have you come on. That music says we are running out of time. It's been about 30 minutes, and we got a lot more to talk about. So we'd love to have you come back on, talk about more about what you guys are doing, and maybe next time we can even do some screen sharing, show some samples of what it is. People love samples.
Sure.
So I think that'll be great, and we'll take good care of Scott when we're on the road. So we'll send him back safe and sound for you. So we're looking forward to seeing him, actually.
I might have to send you guys the waiver on that one. Okay.
Okay. But
Thank you very much.
We appreciate that, and Tim, again, a pleasure meeting you, and much success with the new venture, and we hope you guys do great. So we'll keep an eye on you guys and make sure that everything's going well. We like hearing new solutions and things that make life a little more fun and easier for everyone. So
Thanks
that'll
for
be
taking
fun.
the time.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Hey,
great.
nice to meet you, Tim, and hope talk again soon.
Great to meet you guys. Bye-bye.
And for all you people watching, there will be information on Tim and Curator Solutions in the show notes below, so just take a look at that. And thank you in the chat room for the question, and we look forward to seeing you next time. And we'll see you next week on eLearnChat. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was good.